Alright guys, I'm Rabea.
And I'm Matt.
And this is Sounds Like on Andertons TV.
So today we are going to be trying to sound like Tony Iommi.
Oh, Black Sabbath.
From the mighty Black Sabbath.
One of the, to be fair, one of the first bands I was really listening to when I got into guitar was Black Sabbath.
Totally. They're often cited for kind of creating heavy metal.
I'd say that's fair.
Yeah, I'd say it's fair too.
Them and Zeppelin, I'd say.
Yeah, although I think Sabbath were way more like dark and graveyardy.
They're the kind of band your mum would be like, you're not allowed to listen to and burn all the records outside in the bin.
Yeah.
Music's the devil kind of thing. But anyway.
Really iconic guitar player and really iconic rig. And should we just go and see what we can do?
Let's see what we can do.
So Tony Iommi, famous SG player, had a bunch of kind of custom made ones back in the day. But he has his own, handily, his own Epiphone SG,
yeah,
with his own Tony Iommi pickups in them.
He had the P94 loaded guitars, and then he did the P90 thing was his kind of main bag, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, back for the old school Black Sabbath sound.
Yeah,
for sure.
And obviously you all know he lost the tips of his fingers on his fretting hand.
Because he's left-handed.
Yes. At first I was like, well, what? It's his right hand. He's picking, and then Matt was like, no, he's left-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a big thing for him. So he played. I think it was something to do with avoiding pain and stuff. He plays with really slinky strings. Three half steps down.
Yeah.
So open. No,
C-sharp standard.
C-sharp standard. Yeah.
Look at it.
It is beautiful.
Without the scratch plate, of course.
But do you know how much it is?
I'm going to go with £5,000
on the dot.
I'm going to go 5,499.
6,259. So there are a bunch here.
This is SG land, isn't it?
This is SG land, but more Gibson SG. They've got some P90 loaded SGs, but they're about £900.
That's way too much money.
Or £800 here.
So that's a Les Paul 60s tribute. It's got P90s at $649, which is ridiculous. And this is a full fat US Les Paul.
But it is a Les Paul, and it's not an SG.
It's not an SG, you're right.
Okay, so this is Epiphone SG land. And
you got the punk rock equivalent of the Epiphone.
You do, but this, I spy a little pussycat here.
Have you actually?
I thought I saw a pussycat.
Mate.
Here we go. This would be the Epiphone Tony Iommi signature.
Couldn't be easier.
Yes, it couldn't, especially because it's Epiphone, not Gibson, so that really helps us out with our budget. And that comes in at $5.99 British pounds. They're Tony Iommi signature humbuckers.
Right. Gibson humbuckers.
Yes, which are he designed with Gibson. Yeah.
Gibson USA pickup. So I hear that they're supposed to be like hybrid pickups. So they're an Alnico 2 and ceramic magnet, which the only other person I know to do that is Bulb from Periphery, has his own signature set with both Alnico and so they probably sound pretty pokey.
Yeah, we'd hope so, given his sound. And obviously it's got the cross inlays, which are a definite...
Looks like an ebony board as well.
Yep, definite Tony Iommi signature thing.
There you go, let's do it.
So I guess there's no other choice really, is there?
It's a brain knower.
Amplifiers.
Amplification.
This is the next quest. So Tony Iommi he's used Laney for years and years and years, reportedly because they gave him free stuff when no one else did.
Nice.
Which is fair
I'd do the same.
Yeah, so would I, and remain loyal for all those years. So he actually now has a signature 15 watt Laney amp, which he designed with Laney to use like backstage when he's practicing.
So you'd think that it would just encapsulate his tone, so he doesn't have to do loads. He doesn't have to dial in the stuff. He just will turn it on, play, and it's like his safety, like common ground style tone.
Too right, and it's nice that he designed it for him to play rather than just to sell some.
We've travelled far and wide from the previous location,
Warrenfied,
to essentially show you the Laney Tony Iommi signature combo.
This is the one.
Is it heavy?
Not too bad.
So you got this. Now this is the grill has been sonically treated to perfection, which is why these crosses make such a difference.
That is
a really holy tone.
It is. That's apparently where all the tone comes from.
Yeah, it's £415, and it looks fairly straightforward. So do you need to?
I'm all right. I'm just trying to find a good way to hold it.
Yeah.
There we go.
But in fact, it's a 1B12, 3-band EQ, pre-boost. Okay, so it's a fairly straightforward amp to use, but it's got his signature on it. We've got a signature SG. I'm going to let Matt put this amp down, so that's the one we're going to get. So the final bit of our gear we need to find is pedals. Now, I don't think Tony was massively renowned for a big pedal board or anything like that, but on the record, you know, you sometimes add things into the signal path, so we figured there are a few things that we should probably get. My first port of call was, I hear a bit of spring reverb across some of the tracks, so I want to get spring reverb, and I reckon the best bang for your buck for quality is a Boss RV6, because it's got spring, it's got loads of other controls, and it's fairly priced. So
There's a drive pedal as well by Caitlin Bread, which is called the Sabracadabra.
that's the one.
And that, I mean, given that we have the amp, the inbuilt gain might get us close, but I reckon if
I reckon too.
we both reckon
Yeah.
that if we get this pedal as well as the amp, we can maybe do a combo blend or see which one works best.
Let's have a look. Let's see if it's there.
Yeah, and I've checked, like, well, he's going to get another.
Can you see it yet? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. This is definitely the Caitlin Bread section, but I'm not
looks
sure.
like it is.
I'm not sure where the Sabracadabra
It
is.
looks like, I think it might be the one right in the middle.
Oh, is it that? Oh, yeah.
There
So
you go.
this is the Sabracadabra by Caitlin Bread.
And it's essentially a kind of Tony Iommi signature pedal, really, isn't it? Even though it's not a signature pedal, but it.
Well, given the artwork,
Yeah.
you know, it's Sabbath inspired.
So
for
should
sure.
we get that, the Boss RV6, and that's probably the rig, isn't it?
And the treble booster.
And the treble booster.
Yeah.
Matt rightly pointed out we need a treble booster. We've used it before. It's the Electro Harmonics Screaming Bird.
Yes, indeed.
It's the Nano. It's £32. It's a
Really,
treble
really
booster.
cheap.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that plus the
Sabracadabra.
Sabracadabra 137. That's about what 170 quid.
Yeah.
Plus our RV6.
Yeah.
About 100 and something. So we're a couple £100 under budget. So let's hope it sounds good.
We're back in the room.
We are back in the room.
We are indeed, and to be fair, it's been a great one for me. I've really
honest,
enjoyed myself. Actually, we've enjoyed ourselves.
I think
haven't we?
both of us have. It's fair to say.
It's bringing it back to like when we first started guitar. At least for me, Paranoid was one of the first things I learned. So obviously, it's worth saying at this point, Matt is playing rhythm guitar. So what are you using?
Yes, in tribute to this being Black Sabbath, I've gone with an SG.
lovely.
I've gone with a slightly more busty, banky type SG. This is a P90s loaded Gibson SG Standard from 2016. And it's absolute. I actually want to buy it.
It's lovely.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, and what are you running it into?
And I'm running into the Fender Bass Breaker.
Of course he is, because the Fender
course.
Bass Breaker is the amp of choice for rhythm guitar.
It's our go-to for all-round good tones.
Mm.
And to be honest, the combo of, well, you're here, but the combo of the more gritty sound there and this the more kind of creamy, just thick sound from me.
Yours is like a cup, and then I'm like the stuff that sits inside it.
But it's more like a hot chocolate with marshmallows, but the marshmallows are 90% melted.
Right.
It's like, you know,
That's
almost
in-depth.
hard to stir.
There you go. It's thick with marsh.
Thick.
Yeah. That's really nice.
It is
That
really
E major,
Yeah,
I was just
they
like,
just ring. I mean, even like I really like the right Sabbath style, but it's great. It's
There you
simple.
go.
Anyway, moving on to the feature rig.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. Tony Iommi himself.
Tony Iommi himself, yes. So we very conveniently found the Epiphone SG Tony Iommi signature. You'll have to excuse the loose string. because I snapped one when we were getting
breakage.
tones. But the good thing is that you have the American Gibson humbuckers, which are in fact the Tony Iommi signature humbuckers.
Designed by the man himself.
And to recap, they were Alnica 2 and ceramic hybrids at around 13k output, I think, or 13
Something like
kiloohms
that.
output, yeah. So they're like mid-level, but because they're a hybrid, they're actually gainier than if it would just be an Alnica magnet. Other than that, it's a black SG ebony board with the cross inlays.
Which are cool.
And it's got 24 frets.
That is the thing. That is why he used to get custom guitars, is because everyone made 22s and he wanted 24s because he preferred the 2-octave scale.
Yeah.
So that's what he has on his SIG here. And it is worth mentioning as well, with regard to tones, we're focusing on kind of old school Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like
the debut album.
Yeah, Paranoid album as well. It's a great guitar.
It is.
And for only £600.
The sound quality, playability is pretty good, but the sound quality is really good. We're running it straight into the Tony Iommi Laney combo. It's the 15 watt. And it's, I mean, to be fair, we could have just used the amp, but because it's got loads of gain in it.
It does, yeah.
You've got an extra tone boost, because he used the treble boost, didn't he? Because you've got your treble, then you've got tone and dynamics, which just adding a little bit more harmonic content into the signal. I don't know, I think we thought it'd be better to get pedals, and Matt had stumbled across the Caitlin Bread and the Sabracadabra, and you were like, if we're going to do Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah. And to be honest, what we've ended up doing, which we kind of find a lot, is we've blended the pedal with the amp.
Yeah.
And actually, although Iommi used a treble booster kind of all the time, we haven't used it.
It's shelving a lot of the low end. It's getting rid of a lot of that fluffy kind of...
Ends up being really bright, doesn't it?
Yeah, which is a lot of the energy from Tony Iommi's sound came from that kind of rounded, almost fuzzy tone, which relies on a good amount of warm low end. Yeah. I prefer the way that that's handling the signal than the amp itself.
Yeah, for sure. Although, I mean, saying that, we are kind of, it's almost two different price points, really. Like, that whole amp is 400 quid, and this is about 130 in a pedal. So, it is more on the expensive end of a drive pedal.
It's a very powerful drive pedal as well. I mean, we've got the volume pretty high up, but it's a really powerful tone shaping tool in the sense, like, the range feature makes a huge difference to the low end and the mid range. You know, the presence is really powerful. We've actually running the presence on full. Basically, we've been messing around with all the knobs on the amp and the pedal to try and find what we thought was like that
the little point.
fuzzy with a bit of fizz on top.
Yeah, and it did take probably, it did take a good while, to be honest. But yeah, we feel that's kind of the sweet spot.
It is.
Last in the chain, we've got the RV6 by Boss.
Which, without the pedal in, without the Sabracadabra in, is like... So it's kind of a spring with a bit more decay and a little less tone in it, but as soon as I put the Sabracadabra in and we do the... It's a really, I mean, you could argue that this is like the way too much reverb in one pedal to do that one sound.
Yeah.
But it does the sound that we were trying to get. So for everything we're running here for the Tony Iommi rig, you just totted up with the Mental Arithmetic Master.
Yep.
Around £1,300.
About £1,300, yeah, 125, 137, and about 430 plus 600. All the links obviously are in the description, so you can check the latest pricing. But around £1,300, which sits about 200 under our 1,500 budget.
Yeah, so I think we've done well on that front. Put it this way, in the room, I was vibing Black Sabbath with this rig.
Totally.
So I'd say that was a success.
Well,
but you need to tell us if it was successful, because we
it's
can
not
say
really
that
up to
about
us.
everyone.
We always say it's great, but yeah, let us know how you think we did. Gear, as usual, is in the description box below, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'll continue loving hearing from you, because it's
It's great.
It's really appreciated.
It is. He's sincere about that too.
No, genuinely, from the bottom of my little black heart.
I know he's sarcastic most of the time, but genuinely. Anyway, look, I've been Rabea,
And I've been Matt.
and this has been Sounds Like on Andertons TV.
See you later.